Thank you for tuning into the Disclosures with Peter the Insider and Jessica Arael Marrocco. Peter is the director of the 12th Division of the ACIO, Advanced or Alien Contact Intelligence Organization. Jessica is a galactic liaison and interdimensional seer. Together, they will discuss the most current updates from the ACIO, Council of Five, and other extraterrestrial sources. Make sure to post your questions and comments below. Disclosures, insider intel that keeps you updated with planetary changes.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on Disclosures. We're going to do part 3 of this series that highlights Battle 2042, the video game, and the premise of what they're going through, their experience, the conflict between nations, but finding out that there's more to it. And Peter's going to get into that even further. We're going to go a little deeper and have this discussion. So without further delay, here is Peter the Insider.
I want to say hello to you, Jessica, and to all of our regular and maybe not so regular listeners.
Thanks for being here, Peter. So we can get started. And, what we were talking about earlier is that there was a scenario that happened in, the U.S. Fighting against the communists, and then they find out that they thought either one of them started the war. That's how the storyline of the game goes, and it turns out that neither one of them started it, but it actually creates a war, and so that's a little bit of how this starts. And so it's a miscommunication, it's illusion, and it's other problems. But we were going to go into the topic of religion, because religion has a lot to do with conflicts around the world. So
I definitely agree with you 100%. I definitely agree.
So why don't you share with people, we're going into this third phase of description of what's going on and what you've experienced and as you've traveled into the future and observed these things. Why don't you tell us more about it?
Yes, that's true. Technically, religions, no matter which one we will be talking about or we are talking about, is very powerful, and believers has, from my point of view, be a believer, no matter which religion we are talking about, is being believer is very important part of life, and part of the world, and part, if we want to call it that way, destiny of any respectively every single context of existence, like reality, timeline, or whatever. And that's the problem, as you said, Jessica, and it's very true that all those conflicts, tensions, and all kind of that stuff, if believers of those, let's say all of those religions, if they will start, and of course if they will be smart enough to hear each other, if they start to talk about certain phenomenon, then they got to the very interesting conclusion that they are talking about the same stuff, but with let's say, with different, I don't want to say language, but for example, they will talk about it like in English, and I don't know, German or whatever language, I don't know, Spanish, French language, but language, let's say, different optics, or as it is in English, different point of view. But it's nothing bad. You know what I'm trying to say. And that's kind of stuff that many conflicts, not conflicts only, but let's call it as it is, many wars wasn't because of people believers that they believe in complete different stuff. No, the conflicts they were, you know, because as how you called it, misunderstanding, or how you called this phenomenon?
Yeah, it's a
Misunderstanding.
lack of proper communication,
Yes.
where people have an intelligent conversation regarding what's going on instead of an emotional one.
Yes.
And also history, years and years of history of people disliking each other because of their differences and their belief systems. And so you have grudges or kind of considering them as having already like formed your opinion about them. And I just want to also include, Peter, that there are people that have are atheists too, but that is a belief. And so, and they're choosing to do that, and they have the right to do that. Everyone has a right to believe as they want. I
Yes,
think
that's true. That's true.
that's a
Very.
universal gift to every person, because you can force someone to believe something, but it's never authentic. So
No.
it's futile,
Yes.
right? So belief is actually something, it's a spiritual experience of some sort, even if you don't perceive it that way. It's something that, points, allows someone to see things from a different perspective. And when you engage with someone that thinks differently from you, then it might be interesting to hear what they have to say, and you might, like you said, see something that's similar, and
Yes. Yes.
also maybe see some differences. And I think the problem with some of the belief systems is that there's this thing where, you have to kill everyone that doesn't believe like you.
Yes.
And I think that's where we got into some major problems. As
Yes, it's very common. It's very common. Sorry for interrupting you, but this is very common. Uh, a special. This is very special case for Islam, and that's the problem. I don't believe, definitely, and I don't want to say I don't believe. I'm sure of it that people they believe in Islam. That means Muslim people are not bad. I will say who are bad. People they misused Islam, so they belief system to how we can call it, excuse violence. And those people are not calling, Muslims, but Islamists. That means Islam terrorists. That's the problem from my point of view. And this is bad. It is the same case if we will, for example, if we will call, or let's say, quotes in quotes, mark all the Hebrew people they believe in Judaism as bad, because there is very tiny little piece of elite they believe in Judaism, and they are elite, so they are bad. They've got tremendous amount of you know, money, power, and all kind of that stuff. So elites, and this is the same. This is the same case. I've got a lot of uh, friends. They are Muslims. I've got a lot of friends. They are Hebrew people. They believe in Judaism, you know, and none of them are bad. None of them are bad. And that's the same story, just by the way, same case. True Muslim people strongly dislike, you know, like strongly dislike Islamists, so Islam terrorists, and because they are spreading, you know what, pain, sorrow, fear. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the same stuff, same case, like people who truly and deeply believe in Judaism, absolutely the same case, absolutely the same story. They strongly dislike elites, those tiny little percentage of people, and it is the same case as Islamists. No, they are not Judaist believers. They just misused, you know what I'm trying to say, certain parts of Talmud and Torah, yeah, in order to excuse their, it is not illusion, delusion. And it's the same case, absolutely the same case with Islamists. They simply get certain parts of Quran and they, hey, but this is written in Quran, and that's the stuff. Okay, it is written there, but you get it clear apart from the context. Do you know what I'm trying to say? The same stuff you can, I don't know, uh, you can find in Bible, for example, even in Bible, for example, absolutely the same stuff in Hinduistic, you know, holy writings. Absolutely, pretty much everywhere. That's the stuff. And this is this very important part of any single religion. If you will tear apart certain small amounts of text, and if you will mess around with that, and it will be disinterpretation.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, exactly, Peter. 100% right. I think that's where people got in trouble, is when
Yes.
they started to go in and reinterpret what things meant. And you know, a lot of these, say the Torah, for example, is the first, I think of the 5 books of the Bible,
Yes,
the Old
yes, you are
Testament.
right. Yes, yes, yeah.
And then it covers Genesis, and then it goes up to, no, I think it's Deuteronomy, maybe. But anyhow,
Yes, you are right. You are right. Yes.
so this is where, and you see nothing but battles. It's almost like they go from one location to another, and then they're in battle.
Yes.
They're told they were given a promised land so they can kill whoever was there. And you know, and that's part of the history. That's part of what happened. And we also know about the flood, which was a whole group of people that died. And so it's almost like, well, a lot of people were like, well, what's going on? There's lots of wars in the Old Testament, and you know, kind of they were given permission to go into battle. And I guess that's a discussion for many of the scholars, but because I'm not going to go into that, and I just want to say that this is where people get confused. But from there, then Christianity, whether it was a Roman Catholic Church or any other faction, you know, decided that they too could go on crusades.
Or Orthodox, yeah.
Yeah, they too could go on crusades. They too could, you know, wipe out people under the name of a benevolent God. I don't know. I mean, for some reason, there was that interpretation that certain people should be removed. And I know that in the Old Testament, some of them were giants, so maybe there were different. They considered them a different species, a different race. I don't know, but so that kind of old thinking has been carried into our present future, and I'm sure if I really thought about it, there's other cultures too that have implemented this way of thinking.
Yeah.
And so there's carried on this hostility and anger under the guise of a religion. And they should have just said, this is not religion. We just happen to feel like, this is our territory, that's their territory, we want to be in battle. But because they brought it into a belief system, in that the belief system carries a lot of energy, there's a lot of emotion that goes into your connection to your God and why you think you need to defend a God. I don't know, but people do, and then they feel like they are deserving of certain things that are not theirs, and something like that goes on.
Sorry for interrupting you, but that's the main question in this discussion. And is it really like that? Like, defend the God for any single, or every, if we want to call it that way, every single price. You know what I mean? Even to start the war. I mean, it's like, it's very, from my point of view, okay, it's this interpretation.
Yeah. I mean, like, there were certain belief systems, and that they would have to sacrifice people, and we see that in South America. We see that in the Far East, and probably other systems, maybe Polynesian, and who knows where else that I didn't include. And it's not, like I said, somewhere the information became distorted, and that people thought that there needed to be or that some people were disposable, and that this needed to happen.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, 100%. Yeah.
But it doesn't ever make it right. It never makes it right. So here we are in a dilemma, and the universe is saying, have you figured it out yet? And we're telling them, no, we haven't, because we're still in a conflict over belief systems. And there was that footage that we had a while back about that. Someone from Area 51, maybe. It was an interview, and this being said that he was kind of a genetic, and we were their ancestors, and he looked like he was, like an ET.
Yeah, ET, but technically humanoid like, so technically corpse, 2 legs, two hands, and neck and head. But that's the stuff. Like,
and he said what, Peter? He said, what destroys the world is dogma. It's belief.
Yeah, belief system and give me a second. Political and what? Political dogma and what? Like belief dogma. Am I right?
Yeah. It was religion based. Yeah, pretty much.
Religion
That's what
dogma.
I got from it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's kind of stuff.
And it's interesting because it wasn't race that was the issue. It was the belief system that became the issue.
Yeah.
Because what we have, also we have divisions in those areas. But for some reason, I think we can sort that out, because everyone knows. I mean, your soul is that's a body. It's the body or the shell on the outside. It's not, your soul has been every race. It's been every culture.
Yeah,
and,
that's true.
So none of that even makes any sense to me. But the belief system was the part where they could hook us. They could get us in a frenzy or a turmoil, and no one really is spending the time to try to help many people understand what they're fighting over. Some of them don't even know. They don't even care at this point.
Definitely. It's pretty much like the protests all around the world. If you will ask the Protestants, right? Okay, what you or who you are protest for, or vice versa. Like who or what you are protests against. And it's like because we want change, and that's the stuff. You are asking those people, and most of them, like 95% of them, they are saying we want the change. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But okay, but what this change should be about? Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's like just change. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's like it's pointless. I mean, of course it is not pointless because they want change, but once they don't have reasoning, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, what? Something is terribly wrong here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I do think a lot of the protests were regarding lockdowns and some of the other COVID situations. But yeah, I know initially, they were not happy with leadership. But you're right; they didn't fully do their homework. A lot of them didn't fully understand, and it became socially exciting to go out and protest. Also socially exciting to start destroying the cities, which out of anger, which I think we see that in this game as well, don't we? They start attacking the cities, trying to burn things down, and
Yeah, that's true.
similar to some of what we had experienced, and they don't really know why. They seem like they're just oh, we can do this now,
Yes, and
and
that's very bad attitude. Yeah.
yeah, it is because it doesn't fully have a purpose, and
But this
it
isn't what I'm saying. It's like, okay, pointless? I mean, like, without the solid purpose, what the heck is going on here? You
right.
know what I mean? It's like,
And these are their own cities. This is the places where they live. This is a place where they go have coffee and meet up with friends, or this is a place where their job is, or this is a playground where they bring their kids. So why would they want to do something like that? And so this is kind of a mindset
yeah,
that seems
definitely.
unnatural. It's very unnatural.
Yes, yes, you are goddamn right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You never want to destroy your own house. And if you do, then the people would wonder what's wrong with you. Why would you destroy your own house?
yeah. It's
So,
crazy.
yeah, I mean, that this is the mayhem and the craziness that we see happening in 2042, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and it's at that point where people just they don't know what to do with their emotion, their anger, their frustration. They know things aren't right, and they need an outlet for it. And
yeah,
especially if you trap people into a space for a prolonged period of time, there's a breaking point for some people. What do they call it? Like cabin fever, you know?
yeah, yeah,
You're in the house, like in the wintertime, people that live up north, they know what it's like. You're in the house for so long, and after a while, you're like, I don't really care if there's 10 feet of snow out there. I'm going out there right now.
yeah.
You just,
No, I mean
you have to
that's
go
true.
out.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Otherwise, it becomes like a prison. It does something psychologically. So, um, and that's why the lockdowns were really dangerous. I think, it really brought some people into a very negative place.
yeah,
And, but I mean, I don't want to go too far off the topic, but we kind of are not, because this is the scenario of what they're experiencing is all of this negativity, and then seeing that we still, after all of these years, have not figured out how to allow different people to have their own belief systems without this like heavy burden of oppression, or if not violence.
yeah.
And so
But give me a second. How on one side, as you said, how to allow people to get their own belief system. But give me a second. On one way, but on the other, or on one, let's say, one hand. But on the other hand, fine, but don't, and that's the stuff, don't make, or don't, let's say, I don't want to say don't make, but don't let create complete mayhem. Like complete, do you know what I'm trying to say? Complete mess. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And that's the problem. That's the problem. At least
Right.
from my point of view. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now that I think we've covered that topic.
Yeah.
That brings us then to what you were saying earlier is, did you want to go into the discussion about the axis?
Yeah, definitely, because multiple times that's the problem. There was this tiny, I mean, there was the defense layer. It was a layer against the, let's call it, against manifestation of wormholes. And then those wormholes, once this layer is, defense layer is gone, and there is nothing, like literally nothing, then there was tons of negative, I mean, they started to manifest tons of negative effects of wormholes. But now, like it or not, even myself, we've been in multiple times in a vortex, and we need, I mean, it's time to start to publicly to openly to say how it is, how it looks like in second reality we are merging with. And that's kind of sketchy situation. What do you think, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we started talking about the topic of religion, and part of the reason why is it's really hard to bring in the information without anything that refers to this axis or a Nazi regime. Immediately, people get on edge, and they automatically start, thinking, oh, this is anti-Semitic. And we want to make it extremely clear, and I don't know how many ways we can do this. We've said this multiple times, that we, care about all people, and that
Absolutely the
we
same
are
way. Absolutely the same way. Exact
right.
way.
So we want to make it very clear. This is by no means anything anti-Semitic, and because we do care about, people from Israel. We care about our Jewish friends.
Yes.
And the people around the world, because everyone is, but we also care about the German people as well, who have gone through a lot as also because
And
of this.
and of course, Russian people, technically not Russian people only, but people from former Soviet Union countries, because the Eastern Front was pure madness. Believe me, it was pure madness.
Right. And yeah, a lot of different people that were involved in all of this.
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So now, but we're not talking literally about this regime, which we know was manipulated by extra or elite and
Elite, give me
ETs.
a second, that was the stuff. Elite was manipulated, let's take it that way, because we need to talk it like that. Elite was manipulated by Nordics, so that means Nordics, they are non-human race, but in presence on Earth for very long time. And the Nordics, that's the problem. It's like they've got infiltrations in elite, this world elite, and they just want to play, believe me or not, that means like Nordics, quotes in quotes, another game. It's like literally as you are playing game on either PC or a gaming console, and it's like, okay, you died or whatever, like level not complete, and if you load the game from last save, like it or not, or don't take it like, let's say, nah, insider is saying total bullshits. No, it is literally, for Nordics, it's literally like that. they are they were creating multiple scenarios and all kind of that stuff, and they never ever care how it will influence the whole reality, the whole timeline. No, they are literally like that they are careless. Absolutely. Very bad entities. So how it
And they're
was.
not human. They're not human.
Yes, as I said, not human, and that's
And
the
they're
stuff.
like a mixed species, Peter. You've told me before.
Yes,
Well,
very kind of mixed. They are. They even can't say the. I mean, like determine if they are hybrids or crossbreeds. It's that kind of crazy, and it was the crazy wicked, the most crazy stuff on this wicked story, because they want to make quotes in quotes pure race. Do you know what I mean? Because they are pissed off at themselves that they are that mix. Do you know what I mean? That they can't determine their own. Do you know what I mean? Like who they were from. Do you know what I mean? Like which kind of races they were from.
so they came in wanting to create a pure race because of their mixed race, and that was their issue.
Yeah, that's the stuff. And give me a second, just by the way. Fact, why? Because it's like, okay, so they are like, like sick-headed, sick-minded. Yes, but this was only one part of the problem. Another and main part of their problem was that, yes, they are, I mean, they still are, but they were at that time extremely highly technologically advanced. But this is the question, why they want so bad pure race? Very easy question. This should be edited. Very easy answer to this question. Because rapidly start to they rapidly start losing ability of reproducing, and they were like, this is bad. If we really don't get pure race, we will completely we will completely lose ability of reproduction. Do you know what I mean? There will be no
Reproduction. Yeah.
Sorry, so this need to be edited too.
Yeah, that's okay.
They will completely lose ability of reproduction, and that was the stuff because they made multiple crazy experiments, way more crazier than Mengele did, just by the way. And they picked not only white people, but like people from, let's say, European part of the world and Scandinavia. So like Nordic-ish type people. Because it wasn't because they believe or whatever. It was, okay, this is our best type of people. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
And at some point later on, they do the inverted tall white, right? And so they start bringing in the African genetics.
Yeah, you are right. Yeah, you are right. Yeah. So, but stop talking about this reality, because we get, I mean, at least from my point of view, we said clearly what happened and why it happened in our reality. Or do we want to talk even deeper about that? You need to say.
I would say that we clearly had an intervention that was not human, that influenced, and I believe this not only in the World War II, but I think it happened in every major war, like Alexander the Great, Napoleon. I think there have been species that have come in and astral beings that have influenced major wars. And because there's such a magic involved to get everyone on the same page. And I've talked about how, everyone just, they know how to pick the right time, when certain nations are oppressed and they need to have more power.
Yeah.
And or like they don't have enough food or something like that compels them, and they make that deal, and then the deal is very binding, and before you know it, they're in this full-blown war.
Yeah.
And you say, well, maybe it wasn't all the people that did it. Why did that happen? Well, I think that it's in some ways they get the people to agree, kind of like what they're doing with the media, and persuading the media who should be in office, who shouldn't, what we should like, what we should accept.
Yeah.
And after a while, it breaks people down, and they, it's propaganda, and they understand the way humans think, that they can break them down enough to get them to agree to almost anything if you say it long enough and consistently enough. And that's the problem with people that are glued to any kind of media outlet. They are vulnerable, not because they're weak-minded, but that's just the makeup of the human mind.
Yeah. It's the way how human mind is working. Yeah, you are right. Yeah.
I was listening to this testimony of this man who was from Germany, and he said it all started off where, we were kind of getting excited about, the different opportunities, or that more money would be coming in. And, at first, we accepted something, and then it turned into something else. And then he said, and then before you know it, there's the yellow stars, that requiring certain, the Jews to be identified. And then it just like progressed. And he said, we didn't know how to get out of it. He said, before we knew it, we were in very deep, and then it was too late. And so, I mean, that pretty much is what happens, and that can happen to any nation right now, any nation.
And that's kind of stuff, because I was multiple time in reality we are merging with the second reality, and we should, because I talked, as I said multiple times, that in their reality, Nazi axis, that means Rome, Berlin, Tokyo, they won the Second World War. But we need to say one very important thing, that, I don't know, US or UK was were they, or I don't know, Soviet Union, were they losers? No. And I will say you why. Because all of those countries, they didn't get one important thing, and in Nazi Germany they get it first. And that is the main difference, or let's say that was the main difference at that period of time, that they need to get rid of elites. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
And the elites, they start to, they became, sorry for that, they became to be mutual enemy of all the regimes, no matter if we are talking about democracy, about Nazi Germany, about, I don't know, like kingdoms, about Soviet Union, they were communists technically. Oh, sorry for that, I almost forget. China, they've got communism too, and that's the stuff, and they were like, okay, do you want to lead us against elites? I mean, they asked Nazi Germany, and they were, and do you want us as a leaders? And they were, sorry for that, guys, we didn't realize, because those countries, other countries, they were, and sorry for that, Nazi Germany and Japanese Empire, so those two countries, and they were like, sorry guys, we are just a little bit too late on this train. We didn't get who do who we are problem who we have problem with, because all of those countries, other countries, they know that okay, there is a big problem, but who the heck we should get rid of and how. And that's the stuff. I don't want to admire Nazi regime, definitely not. But I am saying that they, in their reality, were the first ones. They realized, okay, elites are the problem.
Right.
And
They didn't realize it here. They didn't realize it here that the elites
yes,
were a problem. But
yes,
in that reality, this is the difference right here. This is the key.
yes.
They instead, because I believe Hitler was actually taking orders from the elites.
It is not, I believe. I'm sure about that.
Yeah.
I'm sure about that.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty much where the history that I've read is that they actually were, he was interacting with them and probably funding some of their efforts. Yeah.
Yes.
As they are
yes.
now, as they're doing the same thing now, like Antifa
and just for example, like there was no extermination prison camps. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like in Auschwitz, for example. Do you
yeah,
know
and
what
so
I'm?
none of those yeah. Well, that's here again, that was the elite guiding that through,
Yeah.
obviously with along with the
Yes.
Nordics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. You are right. You are right. And that's the stuff. They want all of them. I mean, those countries, they joined together, and all of them just hunted down, hunted away maybe, the elites. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And that's the stuff. And elites were like, do you know what I mean? It's like, that's kind of crazy. You know, it's like.
Well, the elites are probably, enraged, and this is the game that they've been playing. This is the big chess game.
Yeah.
That they're maneuvering the entire world all the time, sitting back like gods and watching for their own entertainment the struggles, the hardship, and the conflicts that are happening around the world because they're disengaged emotionally. They're bored. They've had everything at their fingertips, indulgences and so forth. So they see this as their own personal entertainment and also ways to make financial gain. And so for the first time in this other reality, they recognized and were not, as you say, Peter, blindfolded to the fact that the elite were actually playing them, manipulating them. And
All of
so
them, and that's the stuff. All of them. All of
yeah.
them. Yes. No matter, let's say, not only no matter, let's say, all the countries, that's the stuff. No matter, all of the countries, that's the stuff.
Yeah.
All the countries.
Not
No
just one
difference.
group of
No
people.
difference.
Yeah.
If we are talking about regimes or whatever, the way, as I said, like capitalism, communism, socialism, whatever. If there were kingdoms or, let's say, like nobility, I mean aristocracy or whatever. It's no matter, and they were like, what the heck in the world is that? And they call it as it was, because let's say they call it what it was in Germany. It was like you know like bad and out of out of reach influences. I mean, elites, and that was the stuff, because they've got certain systems they want to lead in. I mean, systems for people. Do you know what I mean? Like common people. They want to have like Reich mark, you know, not for gold standard or what, but if you are the labor force, I mean, as a labor, you know, in I don't know, in certain fabrics or whatever, not fabrics. I mean, do you know what I mean? Because fabrics is
Some
something.
industrial
In
area.
the sorry, this should be edited. In industrial world, or I don't know, as intellectual. Okay, you've got certain amounts of work and minutes or hours, and that's it. How Reichmark should be, let's say, insurance, if we want to call it that way. And that was the best concept. People all around the world, different countries start to like, and all kind of that stuff. There are many stuff, and that's the stuff.
Are you saying that the people, how they're getting paid per hour?
Give me a second. Not paid like that. It was only partly, let's say, the way how people get paid for their jobs, but that's the stuff. Most countries, they've got their own standard. I don't know, like in US too, like dollar got certain standard. Let's say quotes in quotes insurance by gold, for example. No gold or whatever. The people, they are working their own jobs, and that was the standard for Reichmark. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And they started to use it, and many pretty much all the countries in the world like it, and that's it. They named first as first mutual enemy, and that was the main enemy, as we like it, uh, or as we like to call it, and that was elites. They were the elites. That's kind of stuff.
Are these the same elites that we're dealing with over here? Are they the same, or are they different?
Let's say different, but let's say it like the same way, but different guys, if we want to call it that way. But
Okay, so like a different face and different names, but
yeah.
behavior similar.
But the principle is pretty much the same, or very similar. Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah. And what happened pretty much, I mean, if we want to call it that way, destiny, through the Second World War. Those elites were hunted out of the countries, and they start to build, let's say, their own islands. Not islands like the small, I don't want to say small, but do you know what I mean? Like pieces of land in the sea or in the ocean, but do you know what I mean? Like small pieces of lands on inland. I don't know, something like we've got Liechtenstein, Monaco, or I don't know what, like San Marino or something like that.
Yep. So
But
nations within a nation.
Yes. But not those places I mentioned, but in different parts of the world. And it's like their asylum. Do you know what I mean? And that was the whole war against them. And as I said, there was no, how can I say it, hate or fear against against countries, like country against country, or let's say nation against nation. As I said, that there was no, I mean, there were no extermination prison camps for Hebrew people or whoever. Do you know what I mean? They made experiments, crazy experiments on on people. I mean, that happened in our reality, yeah, and millions of people died, whatever. That didn't happen. No, because mutual enemy was elite, or they were elites, and of course they've got the army and all kind of that stuff, and the fights was, or let's say they were crazy, but not with, I don't know how many, dozens of millions people died as it happened in Second World War here in our reality.
Yeah.
That's the stuff. That's the stuff.
So,
But technically, yes, there were, how we can say it, not persecutions that those people, how can I say that, like, yes, they were in prison, but I don't want to say in prison like real prison, but the people, they collaborated directly with elites, or the, I don't know, like the elites army or companies, they manufactured pieces of, like, I mean, weapons as another weaponry accessories. So those people were isolated, not because they, like, how can I say it properly, like they they were imprisoned or they were hunted down, let's say, to the forests. No, but they were that as isolated that society overlooks them. Overlooks, I mean, like, they were not, for example, they were not, say, like, hello, good morning or good afternoon or whatever. Those people cannot get job, so there was no violence, no, how can I say it, like, real deal repressions for them. They were simply that isolated, like, how can we say it, socially isolated. So how can we name it properly, like, non-violent, isolated, non-violential way. Do you know what I mean? It is very sophisticated, and those people were, I don't want to say they went crazy, but look, try to imagine um you are, like, living in certain neighborhood, and you are totally overlooked. Nobody is accepting your presence. And that's the stuff. It is not like people are behaving bad to you. No. But they are behaving like you are not there. Free willingly you will get out of the neighborhood and you will move to next neighborhood. But there is, quotes in quotes, not fame, but shame. Do you know what I mean? And the people start to behave the same way in the next neighborhood, and you are getting from big city to the smallest towns, to the smaller town, maybe to the village, and then what the heck, what should I do? And you will become, like, I don't want to say lost in the woods, but do you know what I mean, like, to live, to do, like, to live in your own. And that's the stuff, like, for example, there is no criminality in there because it's quite, let's say, reality of plenty, if we want to call it that way. People don't need to use drugs because, for example, like, pretty much there are two, in our reality there are two groups of people. They are using drugs, yeah. First are very rich people. They are boring and they
they're
don't
bored.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't know what to do because they are boring all the time and all kind of that
You mean
stuff.
they're bored all the time?
Yes, yes. Or second group of people, they are that poor, or their life get miserable because of something like
Yeah.
unpredicted circumstances, and they need to escape reality. Or maybe, and of course I'm not saying all, but some people, they are artists and they, quotes in quotes, wants to open channels. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And that's the stuff. In that second reality, axis reality we can call it, there is no need for criminality, for let's say drug using, for smuggling, I don't know, like guns, drugs, I mean cartels, or like prostitutions and all kind of that stuff. Oh, human organs, definitely not. So that's the stuff. Those people, I'm just saying, just in case, there is no room for criminality, because this is it what I'm saying, that if someone is overlooking you, you don't have any opportunity to get normal job. Of course, most people, I mean most of our listeners will think, okay, so they became criminals. No, because even there is once there is no criminality, okay, and what the heck should I do? So those people get isolated in, I mean those people, those collaborators in Second World War, collaborators with elites, former collaborators, they are, or they got, sorry for that, isolated naturally by society. They don't need to get in prison. Do you know what I mean? Their prison uh, is their destiny, their former choice. Do you know what I'm trying to say? That's it. It's easy. There is no repression, you know. I'm just saying how it is in there, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's so they have a more reasonable way of dealing with things instead of because we know that when you're when you exclude people, that sometimes they learn and they understand, like, all right, so I'm not accepted in this group, and then some people then turn around and say, well, I really hate them because they mistreated me.
Yeah,
And so it can go either way.
yeah.
And so for the most part, they have a better method of dealing with each other
Yes,
that
yes, you are right.
is a little bit, it's more harmonious, and there's more understanding and discussion rather than like really bad critical attacking behavior.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
what about because I'm sure that this is a big part of the challenge that we have bringing up anything related to the Axis or Nazis, so Nazis from another reality.
Yes.
What is the outcome of the Jewish people in this reality? I'm sure people want to know.
Technically, they are very rewarded because from all of those ancient texts, ancient technically scripture, and it is not only, let's say, like religious stuff, but they get a lot of knowledge. I mean, a lot of wisdom. I'm sorry. I need to say, Nazi regime, like official regime, and they are very rewarded. So, like Hebrew people, Jewish people, they are rewarded. That's the stuff. Because there is no, how can I say it? Like, let's say you've got two winged door, huge door, right? And there is no such a way like, you are not welcomed here. It's pretty much the let's say ultimate solution. They just by the way, they need to get they, I don't want to say they need, the plan was to get rid of, to wipe out Hebrew people, Jewish people, and then next in the row on the list were Slavic people. So it's the same case. Slavic people are very rewarded. They've got. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, why were the two groups targeted in that way?
Give me a second.
Aside from the elite, why did the Nordics target them, the Slavic and the Hebrew people?
Because as I said, they've got knowledge, wisdom, and they don't want to get this knowledge and wisdom to get to the public. It is extremely dangerous for them, because technically elites in a mutual cooperation with Nordics, they are maintaining this kind of not illusional but delusional system we was in. And as I said, 26th April last year, that means 2020, we completely cutted the cord, if you want to call it that way. That means we went away from old context of existence and old matrix, and that's the stuff. If you look at that, if you will get the knowledge, the wisdom, if you will get it out, people will, and it is not about get educated. It's like the overall wisdom, it will open you complete another channels of, do you know what I mean, for education, for lead the better way of life. That's it. And they don't want to do that. Do you know what I mean? So that's the reason why those two groups of people were the first, the first and second on the list. Like it or not.
Was there a third on the list?
Yeah. Third on the lists were Chinese and Tibetan people.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because the same stuff.
Same thing.
Look at the history.
Look knowledge.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. And so then you can also say, like, indigenous people as well too, because they have ancient knowledge.
Of course. Yeah.
So they, because you see this constant attempt to destroy our history, to want to wipe out the history, change it. And
of course.
And that I've seen as a consistent problem throughout all of this, is that there's a constant issue of rewriting everything. And they actually did this with Christianity too, because the New Testament, well, they couldn't do that with the Hebrew writings, because Judaism wouldn't allow them to do that. They made sure everything was accurate. But the New Testament got tampered with from it was partially Greek, partially Aramaic, and and so then
and just by the way, in what it is, fourth century, it was like 370, 380. Yeah, our like around that years, 370, 380. The Emperor Constantine in ancient
Constantine,
in the ancient Greek, he wants to use the Christianity. Technically, he wants to lead Christianity as let's say, how we can call it, like obligatory or whatever religion. But those people, they got like crazy stuff to do because it was, do you know what I mean, like the council, the first council, you know, in ancient Greek period, and they completely messed up with New Testament, as you said. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
they tried to rewrite the New Testament multiple times.
With Nicaea Council.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a that's the Nicene Council, which is, there was a Nicene and anti-Nicene. I believe it's spelled like that.
Yes.
So this is Nicene Creed, and they started to rewrite everything, and then it happened again with the Latin Vulgate version, and that was another rewrite. And so you have a lot of inconsistencies. That's why people try to quote a lot from the New Testament, and I guess and when they make it very dogmatic, there's the dogma again, and say that, you know, it's definitely like this. Well, they need to recognize that there's been multiple rewrites, and then of course they have then they went to King James version, and then that was another rewrite, because you had a bunch of scholars from England that wanted to, they were rolling out some major religions like Calvinism, and well, Calvinism didn't start there, but
yes, that's the stuff. So sorry for wrong years. That's my bad. When was the first Nicene Council? Give me a second.
Nicene Council was
that's my bad. Sorry for that. That's my bad.
Let's see, the year. Yeah, you were about there, 325.
Yeah, but it was
381.
25, but I wasn't. Yeah, this is it. 380. Okay, so it was second one. So okay.
So there's the anti.
Yeah. I wasn't sure. So sorry for that.
And anyone knows anything about this? These are a huge collection of books. I mean, I remember.
Yeah, but this is the stuff. It's
browsing through all that stuff.
It's bad because technically they messed around with text, and it's like, what in the world? This is crazy.
Well, what happened was, these were the followers after I think this was after John the Beloved died on the island of Patmos. And so these were the guys that were left over, that were followers of the apostles, and then they wanted to carry it on, and so they created this council, and then started to add more information from maybe their experiences or whatever, but also became quite political, as you see going down time.
Political, and then,
yes. So by the time you get here to the Latin Vulgate, that's when they were trying to use Christianity to tell people whether or not they can get to heaven. They can pay for that. You know, there was all sorts of like crazy things, and then also all the books, the additional books that weren't included in the Bible.
As we like or not, if you are doing bad stuff, you will not go to heaven.
Right. So they started implementing their own.
You can't pay money. No.
Yeah. So that was the government
delusion.
merging
It is not
with
illusion. It is delusion. Yeah.
And I think there was the apocryphal writings.
Yeah.
Apocryphal writings, which are additional books that weren't included. And so I mean, it goes on and on regarding what happened here, but getting back to we don't want to be in that situation again.
Yes, this is it, what I'm saying, and that's the stuff they get it over. There is group that should be removed, and in Nazi Germany they named them elites. If you want to to get rid out of this mess, to rid out of this chaos, the mayhem, then okay. If you want, let's get rid of the elites. And that was the stuff, because at that time, as once again, as I said, certain things were absolutely the same, and other things more or less similar. I mean, in their reality. But one thing was absolutely the same. Other countries, they know that there is something really wrong, but they cannot determine it. Like
Right.
determine what is the origin of it. And Nazi Germany, they get it, because they've got their own system, the concept, how to create the healthy economy, and people technically not healthy economy, but let's say, healthy system. Like, okay, if you are good citizen, uh, there will be social insurance, health insurance, everything, and this kind of stuff. And those crooked, wicked-minded, elites, they don't want to do it. It's like, nah, it's BS. You are not that stupid, and that's the stuff, because um, there wasn't laws or whatever, or propaganda or whatever, and pretty much it's the same as in UK, for example. Many laws are not written, I mean, like strictly written. Do you know what I mean? It's like some hundreds years old, let's say, how can we say it, like norms, but it's not exactly strictly, do you know what I mean, prohibited. And it was the same stuff in Nazi Germany, and there was those people, they were provoking, provocateurs, they were
Yeah.
provoking people. I mean, like, what the heck, this is not um, strictly forbidden. Why the heck should you follow the rules? And that was the stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not good. This is not good. And that's the stuff. And they sent, um, members of government to UN, because, just by the way, UN is there too. And they were like, okay, we've got serious guys. That is big issue. And they were like, okay, if you really want to know what is the main issue, we can call them elites. That's the problem. And then it's
So
like,
the UN is in the alternate reality as well?
give me a second. No, it's UN make a council, because many countries know that there is something very bad, but they cannot determine the root of the problem. And Nazi Germany, I don't. I think we should avoid the names, or shouldn't we?
It's okay. But which reality you're talking about? Our current reality?
No. I'm talking their reality.
Their reality.
And
So they also have a variation of the UN there.
yeah, yes.
Okay.
And you know the leader was there, and he said, it's easy. We can speak it loud, elites. So leader was there, and he said it. It's like, that's
He
it.
came right out and said, here's the problem. So they were honest about where the problems were coming from.
Yes.
So
yes.
a lot of the reason why nobody's actually pointing the finger at the true culprits of these issues is because of money and power. So if you
Exactly,
dare say
because it
anything,
is pretty much, it's easy, because despite they know, I mean, the politicians, despite they know where the problem is, despite, it's like blah, blah, blah for them. Because once they know that they will gain some benefits and all kind of that stuff, they absolutely doesn't care. And the leader, I mean, Nazi Germany leader, just by the way, the same name, just by the way, he pointed out that's the problem. If you really want to fight against, that's the problem. And they were in shock, including the U.S. president, including the like leader of Commonwealth. So do you know what I mean? UK, including Soviet Union leader, because they were like, what? This can be that true? Because they simply cannot get to the very roots. Do you know what I mean? They will digging deeper and deeper and deeper, but it's like, what? They didn't believe it. It's like, do you know what I'm trying to say? And after, let's say, deeper inspection, they were like, holy crap, this guy was right. I mean, Nazi leader was right. And okay, let's start the war. The war. You know what I mean?
But the question that I had, Peter, is that over here, the reason why no one wants to touch the elite is because of their power, their access to corporations that or our military.
This is it, because it's I mean, the assets. I mean, that means like assets, money. That means like how rich they are. Second, that's first reason. Power. How tremendous amounts of power they
get
have.
Their own like elite military.
Please give me a second. That's the second reason. And third reason is fact that they are very closely bounded to corporations, and this concept, our concept of existence, our context of existence, which concept we are living in, right? Once you are, quotes in quotes, like once huge corporations became your enemy, you are screwed. No matter if you have how strong and how big your army is and all kind of that stuff. And that's the problem. All the countries, they even never tried to do so, like to fight against corporations. Do you know what I mean? Because most of elite's power is hidden, or let's say hidden, is within the corporations. But no one in this world, even for example, and please don't get it wrong, but now in our reality is this, okay, many people will say, nah, it's point of view or whatever, it's matter of discussion, but let's say US, why the heck they even don't want, they never tried. Or I don't know, Chinese is the biggest army, or I don't know, Russia, it's at least equal, maybe more advanced and enhanced technologies in comparison with US. Nobody never ever tried to fight against the largest corporations, world largest corporations. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Or to even speak out about the elite, because I
recently or speak with, yes.
Yeah, so, I recently was listening to a radio show, and there was a guest on there, and the guest literally talked about the U.S. president having Alzheimer's, and immediately cut off. This was mainstream, news, and immediately cut off. And they brought her back and made it look like it was an accident. It's like this. The system is set up that no one can say anything. It's I don't know if you remember the story of the emperor's wearing no clothes. It's like
Yeah, exactly.
like no one can say anything, but it's so obvious, and everyone's looking at it, but no one dares say anything about it. And so it's and there's a fear. It starts off with, you see that immediately you're being censored. The second part is, then you start to realize as you keep on talking that it starts to get more and more dangerous, that they start threatening you, they start threatening your family, they start threatening your means of making money. They start cutting things off. They prevent you from travel. They start doing, and this is the type of thing that we're looking at right now, is people that are just trying to speak out, and those that are more very, very public, and they're trying to speak out. So the system is set up that it's very difficult to speak against the elite. So it sounds like they don't have that system. Is that correct? So there is more of a freedom of speech to say, hey, there's a problem, and here's the problem.
And that's the stuff, because like, from our point of view, in our reality, it is absolutely opposite, like freedom of speech and all kind of that stuff, because it was very restrictive regime, Nazi regime. But as we said, what is the where was the main where were the main differences, the key differences, and this is the stuff. It is not in their reality, in Axis reality. It is freedom of speech, and if you are criticizing something, they don't take it the wrong way, and I will say you why. Because from their point of view, it's like, okay, so this is what we are doing bad, and this is the, let's say, the room, the space for improvement. Do you know what I mean? And it is it is in all the parts of the world. That's it, Mm-hmm. Or for example, there are no repressions, like, I don't know, like punishments for people, because pretty much the world is like divided for two zones, German zone and Japanese zone. Just by the way, it's very important that Japanese they wiped out their writings. They go to alphabet from obvious reasons, and technically you can speak whatever language you like, just once you go to the office, and like, I don't know, like to some official institutions, it is obligated to speak in certain parts of the world German, or in other parts of the world like as I said,
Russian, Dutch, Danish.
Japanese. Sorry, Japanese.
No, I know that, but when you go to different nations, you speak whatever language they speak. So when you're there, they allow you speak Japanese, but you can also speak other languages.
Yes. This is it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, this is it. Like English, like as I said, Russian or whatever, or even Ivrit, what is Hebrew language in their language, Ivrit. Yeah, it's they don't have any problem with that. Nope. Any sort of problem.
So what it sounds like to me is that there's a higher consciousness, almost like there's a higher awareness, higher regard for human life, and respect for one another.
Yeah.
And also identifying those that are not respecting others and that are taking advantage of things or harming people. Those things are also.
This is the stuff. They don't have punishment like you will go to prison. Fact that society is overlooking them and they don't give them opportunity to, quotes in quotes, be bad seed. That means, like get a criminal. They will either change their attitude to be a good citizen, or they will isolate themselves and go to whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like live off grid or whatever. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
That's it. That's it. And as I said, for example, no unequity, for example, like in many parts of the world, it's like people are working crazy hard labor for one dollar in their reality, one Reichmark or one Japanese yen. No, nothing like that. Uh, Everyone, I don't want to say have plenty, but it's nothing like that. Like people are starving, for example, and there is lack of food or drinkable water or something like that, as we are seeing it on Africa, on certain part of Latin America, or in far east, nothing like that, nothing like that. Nope. And I saw it on my own eyes. So I am not just glorifying the regime or the context of existence or reality or whatever. And that is the stuff. That is the stuff. Everyone can afford either flat or house, the car, all kind of that stuff. The property, you know, that's the stuff. Just
Well,
by the way, cars are running on hydrogen, and it's like, nah, it's BS, it's bullshit. Cars, or I don't know, trucks are, I mean lorries, they are creating 2% of pollution created by transport. I mean by traffic. So there are those huge container ships and airplanes, like driven by engines. I mean motors for
like
you
diesel or
no, I mean
gas.
instead of diesels or
Oh,
like
okay.
those very highly pollution, or pollutant engines, they are using hydrogen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pure steam. It's as like what it is, getting getting out of the engine. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
is so easy. And it is just, how can I say it, like people are not, you know having bad emotions or something like that. This like, or and this is it, I can't, because this is in German, Schadenfreude. That means like, once something bad happened and people are laughing on it. Do you know what I mean? This kind of phenomenon. Do you know what I mean? Once something bad happened, for example, to someone across the street, and this is the German term in psychology, Schadenfreude. Do you know what I'm trying to say? How can we say it? Like,
Like you find it's like black humor, they call it. Like you're kind of laughing at something that's not really
yeah,
good,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
looks funny or something.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, like how we can say it? Like, gloating. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, or marvelousness. Yeah, this is something like that. Yes,
Well, like
yes, yes,
malevolent, you saying like kind of like dark, not very nice type of.
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it. Like, for people, or most people in our reality, it's something unimaginable, but those people are living happy lives. And it is not something insider you are saying BSS, it's like because of mind control or what. No, it is not mind control. Those people are happy.
Is this like a fifth dimensional reality?
Technically fifth dimensional slash, or let's say like density or fifth array density. Yeah, that's true. That's our ultimate goal, what we are merging with.
Yes. Yes. No, that's what it sounds a little bit more like. And I think it scares people when they hear the regime, the Nazi word, that they think of something really negative, but this is this alternate reality that is a
Yes,
different
but
outcome, had a different outcome and had a different scenario
yes,
than we
but this
had
is it,
here.
as you said, because this is because of this is because of higher awareness. As
Yeah.
you nailed it pretty much. Higher awareness, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, higher awareness. Yeah. That's the stuff. I really like how people are thinking. You know, it's like if I've got certain things, if I succeeded, for example, yeah, I will help another people and all kind of that stuff. You know, it's like in my in our reality, I don't know. Like people are so weird.
So Peter, I'm looking down at this. This is from the ACIO
Yeah,
website,
yeah,
and see, a lot of the information that Peter talks about is has been written down for explanations, and people can review it in the many articles that are here. And this happens to be the section under the database area. But
yeah,
as I'm looking down, I mean, so the Nazi reality had also the vril. Do they exist
yeah,
over there?
yeah. They
Okay.
exist.
And they also did a lot of they got a lot of artifacts and spiritual objects,
And
crystal
Tule
skulls,
too,
and things like
Tule
the
too.
Tula. Yep.
But we need to get very, and I'm saying very important stuff clear. They were doing, I don't want to say bad magic, but controversial magic in our reality, and in their
Yes.
reality, they spread those, how we can say it, like the, let's say, quote unquote, secrets of those magic, and technically like health. I mean, like that, let's say, departments of of health of multiple countries and all kind of that stuff. And pretty much the modern science in there, it's not about, you know, like drug lobby. I don't want to say drug, but do you know what I'm trying to say? Like um
Kind of
chemical,
like wellness. Yeah.
pharmaceutical lobby, but they are using the wisdom and the knowledge of ancient people and indigenous people, as you said, yeah. And it's really good because indigenous people are worshipped. It is pretty much the same stuff as I said. It's like, what in the world are you doing, guys? It's like, you know, aborigines people, they are doing on foot because it's dozens of years, sorry, my bad, dozens of thousands of years old road. And the central government in Canberra, they said, hey guys, you can drive on this road in the cars. We will make this pave. We will pave this road. We will make from this, like, you know, sand road. Uh, we can create paved road here. What the heck? Those people are living there for dozens of thousands of years, and it's nonsense. We should we should do you know what I mean? Have
Yeah,
all the respect.
they
Not
didn't want the chemical roads. They wanted to feel their
uh,
feet on Mother Earth,
yes,
and
exactly, like deep
that they call that
connection.
earthing. By the way, that people call that earthing now, where they like to barefoot on the ground without, not on the paved road where it has chemicals and other things. But yeah,
Exactly. And that's just, by the way, this is very important stuff. Like you know, like in their reality, in Axis reality, they are, I don't want to say worshipping like too many worshipping, but they, the indigenous people from different parts of the world are very highly respectable. They are very respectable people,
yeah.
highly respectable, you know.
But they brought in, I mean, they held on to the knowledge of ancient medicines and herbal remedies. India has it. Native American people have it.
Exactly.
Yeah, all of the older societies, held on to some of this herbal information. Even in Europe, there's a lot of herbalists, and that was the original medicine until the Rockefellers came and turned that into the medicine of the based with petroleum-based medicine is where we get the
You are right.
pharmaceuticals.
You are right. You are
Right.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I have a video. I'm going to attach that video so people can listen to it because it is really important. It's all the things that you're not allowed to talk about, or they cut off, or you get in trouble just talking about herbalism because they started labeling it quackery way back then, and now people are still holding on to it, but a lot of people have died just for having holistic practices.
Yeah.
And so that's the type of stuff that we want to see coming back that's more natural. And so I'm hoping that if I'm over there, because this is me, I was Sigrun in
That's
this
true.
reality. Yeah, in World War II, here in this reality, which I had some unfortunate endings. But so the over there, Peter, am I still existing over there and doing the channeling information?
As Sigrun, just by the way, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we have a different goal. Am I dealing with Aldebaran still?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's some positive groups of Aldebaran, and there's negative ones as
Yeah,
well.
it's
Yeah.
there are many differences, as I said. Yeah.
Here's information we cover Antarctica, and was it Operation High Jump, and some of the things that
Yes,
happened over
yes.
there. And there is that date that Peter, you mentioned earlier, April 26, 2020, where we changed, major breakthrough with our current reality, able to break free from the artificial matrix created by Monarch and Mobius, which are corporations
Jesus.
that had us locked into this negative timeline. So we're breaking free, and you can see here's some of the
And
crafts.
Umbrella, just by the way, Umbrella is
Umbrella,
crazy.
yes,
Yeah.
of course, it's bringing in all of this stuff that we're going through right now. And by the way, our friend Gary was around here. He was here. Listen,
Gary
he
is
was
so
happy.
funny. Gary is so funny.
He was very happy about this conversation. This is the first time in a long while that I've seen him present in one of our conversations. So he's happy. So if Gary's happy, everyone's going to be happy, right?
Yeah, it's like when
Yeah.
Mama is happy, everybody are happy.
Right.
Yeah.
So
That was my friend, Aborigines friend, and he's like grand, like two or three times grandmother, and she's, I mean, like, what? she can't be that old. She looks very good. And she was like, what? She died at 110 or 112 years old. And it's like, she was highly respected and in community. And he always said it like that. When mama is happy, everybody are happy.
and that's so well. When Gary's happy, everyone's happy too. Because
Yeah.
he's with the Council of Five, and I know that he's helped us along the way, and I believe he's the one that brought you and I together, Peter.
I'm sure of it. I don't believe it. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
To do this work together, and coming from two different parts of the world, and doing the best that we can to help people through a very difficult time, as much as we can, And
As much as we can. Yeah. Yes.
But
yes.
It's been difficult for the both of us as well, hasn't it? So, but anyways, I'm sure that there's more information. I don't know if there's going to be a part 4, but
from my point of view, I think that that's it. That's all for this
series.
For this, I don't want to say for this series, but let's say maybe that will be part 4. I'm not 100% sure, but for this part, it is pretty much everything what I want to say. I'm really happy, and I want to say big thank you for giving me another opportunity to be on your channel, and I'm looking forward for next time. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, Peter. And thank you to all of our listeners. We appreciate you very much. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and ideas in the chat session, the comment section. And we're going to keep doing what we do, providing information, having an optimistic outlook, but not putting on those rose-colored glasses and ignoring what is the obvious. We want to keep our eyes open, be alert, keep sharing information, getting information out to people, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss anything. Thanks again, and have a good day.
You have been listening to the Disclosures with Peter the Insider and Jessica Marrocco. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Visit www.acio-agency.org and www.readingsbyarael.com. Post your questions and comments below. We look forward to hearing from you. Feel free to support our work. All links can be found in the description. Thank you.